We are Voice from the Bleachers. My name is Leo, here with my partner Jose.
Filming from an undisclosed location on a late Saturday night. It's windy outside, dusty, it's wild. And speaking of wild, this past summer transfer window in soccer was extremely wild.
And one of the wildest we've seen.
Yeah. And with every transfer window, there's the winners and there's its losers. And today we're going to talk about probably the biggest winner of all, PSG, who signed some of the biggest talents in the world.
Some of those talents include Mbappe, Neymar, and Dani Alves. Let's first touch on Dani Alves.
Dani Alves, still one of the best right backs in the world.
At the age of 34.
You know, when he was leaving Barca, people wrote him off. When he got to Juve, they wrote him off. And same as now, but he's still producing as one of the best. I think last year's Champions League showed it in the run to the final for Juventus. And he's certainly going to bring a big upgrade over their previous right back like Aurier, Van der Beek, Meunier, among others.
Something I still won't understand is why Barca wanted to get rid of him when he left to Juventus. Even though we had no good replacement for him, we had the likes of Douglas and Vidal backing him up, and we were...
A lot of the decisions Barca has made in the past few years don't make too much sense. But you could really tell last year with Sergio Roberto, with Alex Vidal, you know, at times Rafinha, Andre Gomez played right back. You could tell the big gap that Dani Alves left. And I think this year you're going to see it with Juventus too. And PSG is really going to feel the benefits of having that kind of guy on their line.
No, but he will improve them a lot at right back.
You know, but using Barca as a segue, I'll talk about maybe the biggest transfer of the summer, Neymar. He's coming from Barca.
Biggest signing probably maybe of the century.
You know, the 2010s, I would agree with you, yes. I believe he's the biggest signing since Ronaldo back in 2009. You know, a player of that caliber, of that hype, of that attention moving. And I would say, you know, his first transfer 4 years ago from Santos to Barca was also an extremely big deal. But this one really hits the note as one of the biggest we've ever seen.
No, with this signing, PSG are really showing that they're ready to take that next step as a big European club and take over Europe and finally win that Champions League. And they coughed up a huge 222 million euros, which shatters the previous record last year for Paul.
And I think it also, you know, PSG, we've always known them as a really rich team that would go bully teams into giving the players. But, you know, in the 5 years, that was, you know, 5 years since last time Silva came in, yeah. I think it came maybe a year before. This is the first time where they really flex their financial muscles, and you see it, you know, the biggest clubs in the world, like Barca, were forced to just give up their players because PSG came in with the money, and players with ambition know they got a good project going on.
No, PSG have signed, in my opinion, the third best player in Europe, and now he has his own team, and he doesn't have to live in Messi's shadow anymore.
And you know, we're talking PSG, talking Barca. You know, last year after the debacle that was that second leg for PSG against Barca, it was Neymar sort of who was the superstar on the pitch, but it sort of felt like it was Messi who was still the superstar off the pitch.
He got the praise after the game.
You know, that famous photo when he's standing there.
Which I think was one of the reasons what set off Neymar.
Exactly. Do you think that it's that allure to be the man that drove him to leave Barca?
I think it was the allure because he knows he has it in him. Because 2 years ago when Messi went out for those 3 months, he was the man at Barca. He was the best player in the world for those 3 months. And for Brazil, he's their best player and he leads them.
You know, and Brazil is one of the best international teams. That could be a bit up on the day, but he is the superstar of that team, and I think he knows in himself, like, hey, I can be the best player in the world if I'm in the right system. Like the system where Messi and Ronaldo, for example, where they are the leading men with freedom, with ability to...
Even though he did go to the French league, which I don't think is one of the better leagues in the world, but he did finally get his own team, and now...
Speaking of the French league, and you know, we talk about now one of the better leagues in the world, perhaps it's been weakened now since PSG also made a big money transfer for their rivals, probably best player in Mbappe, one of the best young players in the world.
One of the best young players in the world. He's got pace, he's got strength, knack for goal. He knows where to put him. He knows how to put him in. Last year, 15 goals, 29 league appearances, only 17 starts. He's a real talent.
And it's pretty crazy to think that he put up those numbers only starting half a season.
True.
Considering that Monaco were in the running to win the league,
and he's only 18 years old.
Exactly, which they won. In the Champions League, they went all the way to the semifinals, and he was their linchpin, arguably their best player throughout that run. For a guy to step up like that, for that kind of club, is immense.
For a guy to step up like that at only 18 years old, he's playing way beyond his years. That's with all this young talent, Mbappe, they have to cough up 180 million euros. Not this season though, next season, because they found a loophole to get around the FIFA fair play.
Yeah, which is, I don't understand it too well, but it seems like PSG are completely making a mockery of these set of rules that FIFA set. I don't know if I totally like the rules, but they're replaced.
Yeah.
And PSG just stomped on them.
So they did loan him for this season, but they have an obligation to buy next season. So he's their player.
Yeah, he's their player, and PSG have to be excited. And I want to ask you, this Mbappe guy was chased and prized by some of the biggest clubs in the world. Barca and Real Madrid were both interested. And it's funny because both their strikers, you could consider them maybe declining or not in the favor of the fans, in Benzema and Suarez for Real and Barca. They want to replace him as their primary striker down the middle. PSG, who has Cavani, who in Ibra's absence became one of the best strikers in the world. I don't really have the stats on me right now, but he killed it in France.
Let me tell you, last year in France, 35 goals in the league. Incredible.
Which is astounding. I don't know if Ibra ever got to those kind of levels.
Yeah.
He's one of the best in the world. PSG essentially bought Mbappe to play him on the wing. Do you think that would stunt his growth, take away from his game?
See, in my opinion, Neymar does take a lot of attention on defense, is playing out on the left. But I think Mbappe is more of a number 9 than he is a winger. He does have talent to play out wide, but I feel like he won't be used to the best of his abilities out wide on the right.
I think because of his age, and not just his age, but he still only played 30 competitive games last year. So it's he's still very malleable and impressionable. I still think those players are gonna get him to play the way that he needs to for the team to win. I think he realizes the situation he's in, which is one of the teams that are pushing to win the Champions League and be one of the best in the world. And I think he understands that he has to adapt to the team.
Let me touch on that. PSG do have 3 of the best players up front in their team, and there's a lot of rotation going on in the team. They have to come to that understanding where to be on the right at the right time, and they'll take each other's positions. A lot of crossing over. It's not set that he'll be out on the right, but
and it'll be tough. Remember MSN, Messi, Suarez, and Neymar also took some time to gel, and once it did, it was a thing of beauty.
No, Neymar started off the season hot in 3 games, 3 goals, 3 assists, really showing that he's worth the money so far.
But the French league isn't the priority. The priority here, the reason why the signings were made, is to win the Champions League.
Speaking of Champions League, I want to talk about how you think they're going to set up compared to the other best teams in Europe. What their strongest 11
going through their 11, we've got Areola in net. Their center backs, Marquinhos and Thiago Silva, who's in duo. Fullbacks, Dani Alves and Kurzawa.
Yeah.
In the midfield, you got Mota. In front of them will be Rabiot and Verratti. And in front of the 3 that we talked about, Neymar. I think that front 3 is as good as it gets. As it gets. I don't think any other team. I don't think you could say a team's attack is scarier than that. But I think in the midfield and defense, I don't think they're the best. So, for example, against Real Madrid, their midfield is not going to dominate Real Madrid's midfield.
No, Real Madrid. In my opinion, PSG don't have a player like Real Madrid do in Modric, a player who's always available, dictating.
I wouldn't say that. I think Verratti's a really good player.
I don't think Verratti's a playmaker. He doesn't dictate play.
But think about it like this. Verratti's a great player, but there's only one. Real Madrid has 4 great players in the midfield. Casemiro, Isco, who's amazing. If you watch today's match in Italy, he was ridiculous.
He scored 2 goals.
Scored 2 goals, and he was amazing overall. And Kroos and Modric are ridiculous too. So you think about that as Verratti's only one, and there's 4 of them.
Exactly.
So can Rabiot make the step up? Who knows? I've
never been a huge fan of Mota. Even he doesn't start for his national team. I have a little knack for players who don't start for the national team and start for their club.
Right.
Are they really the best at their position?
We'll see. I like what they got going on at fullback. We saw last year Real and Juventus, the 2 finalists for the Champions League. They have 2 best fullbacks in the world.
They have 2 great fullbacks that like to get forward a lot.
Exactly. Kurzawa and Dani Alves. Let's go back a little bit to last year when Barca go into the Parc des Princes, or however it's pronounced, my bad. They lose 4-0. PSG then proves that you come into Paris, and that's just as strong as going into Madrid, going into Munich, going into Barcelona. With these additions, they have to feel really confident in their abilities to win and to hold their home ground, that they can win at least in Paris.
Now, in Paris, PSG did show with that 4-0 win over Barcelona that they can play with the best teams in Europe, that they can dominate.
Right, but they proved that if they want to come out and beat you, they can. And if they want to come out and beat you in Paris with the crowd behind them, they're pretty hard to beat. And that team last year, it's not as good as the team that they're gonna have this year.
And to mention it, they didn't even win the French league last year.
They didn't, but they won. But the four.
They went
four
out and
previous-
signed Monaco's best player to kind of
and
get rid of the
they
competition.
took a guy by the name of Neymar. He's alright.
So
We'll see.
we'll see how that goes. Their defense, though, even though last year they did have the best defensive record, only allowing 27 goals and having 21 clean sheets, I do think they're a little vulnerable back there. Thiago Silva's aging, probably not the best in his position anymore.
No. Yeah, they are a little vulnerable, I think, but we've seen defenses like that win. I think it's more of a problem. If PSG can bring the game to their team, hold the ball, press, the defense won't have as much to do as we think they will. So it all comes down to, can the midfield hold their own, and can the forwards really put the pressure going forward to sort of draw the other team back off a little bit.
Neymar really needs to take hold and do almost everything. Not everything, but he has to do a bit of everything for this team.
I think Neymar understands his role. It's a free role of creativeness.
He has the greenest light you can get.
Yeah, it's as green as Messi
It's as green
for
as
Barca.
Messi for Barcelona. For
And
sure.
Neymar has had the green light for Brazil for quite a while now.
Yeah, and he's shown that he can.
Yeah, he showed
He can
he can hold his own, and he showed against PSG exactly that second leg that he can hold his own. So we'll see. I really think PSG hit the nail on the head. He's worth every penny, and we'll see if they can complete their goal of becoming Europe's best.
And another season under Unai Emery,
Who's a great
With a lot
coach?
of
He's a
success
really
in
good
Sevilla.
coach. At Spain, he was really good. He took Sevilla about as far as he can.
as far as you can take Sevilla.
He wasn't quite what Simeone was to Atletico. He took them a little
Yeah.
further. But
It wasn't quite what I expected for his first season in PSG though last year.
Up until that second leg against Barca, I would say that they were playing great. I just think that second leg was a complete disaster on all sorts.
And that's what led to their demise in the league too.
Yeah, exactly. But hey, when against Monaco last year, I remember the last two games they played was something like 4-1 and 5-0. Like when they had to step up, they would do it. So I think they'll be fine this year. They'll win the league. And the Champions League, I'd be scared of them if I were just about anybody in the world, maybe except Real Madrid. But even then, you have to fear a team with the kind of quality they have.
Not only talking about their starting 11, they do have some good players coming off the bench.
Right, so Di Maria is not coming off the
And
bench.
Di Maria is now coming off the
The
bench.
energy
as
he
well.
brings is important.
And they have Draxler, who
I know.
people forget.
He
He
brings
can
up a lot of
great
energy.
young German player.
But their midfield's a little bare.
It is. They don't have, I don't think, as much backup as
So
you.
Pastore can come in
Pastore
and
can't
do
go
a really
in.
good job. But they
I
lost
think they-
Matuidi.
They lost Matuidi, who was a powerhouse box to box for Juventus.
Exactly, that they didn't like. And that sort of engine works really well coming off the bench.
Yeah.
The same way that Di Maria works going forward coming off the bench, Matuidi would help a lot.
They also lost a player in Krakowiak, who didn't play much for them, but I thought was fantastic in Sevilla, the Polish powerhouse.
For Emery, which is weird that he didn't get much playing time in Paris. I think they never got that a little bit.
Sort of same thing that happened to Johan Cavalli when he came over from Newcastle.
Yeah.
He didn't really get to play
Yeah.
much, even though he was playing for the national team.
Yeah, that was
And he made a surprise transfer to West Brom, which I don't really understand. And they also lost Aurier, so they lost a bit of depth, but they brought in some of the best talent you can find around Europe.
I think they're happy when they weigh.
At the end of the day,
when
when
they
you
weigh
put
their
it all
additions and departures, and the additions outweigh the departures.
For sure, I
by
totally agree
quite a
with
bit.
that.
I think they're fine.
So to conclude, do you think PSG can compete with the best of the best now with these additions?
Yeah, I think so. I think they are in the contention for second best team in the world
Second.
with Barca, with Bayern, with Juventus. And I really, if I play for PSG, if I'm a fan, if I'm part of the owners, and we draw Bayern, which I did in the groups,
Yeah.
Barca, Juve, I'm not scared. Maybe I'm scared of Real Madrid, but I'm not scared of anybody.
I'm excited for the future because they have a bunch of young talent, ready to play, eager to win. Neymar's ready to show himself as the best player in Europe.
So tell me, how far are they going to go this year in the Champions League?
I think they're real competitors. They have a chance to win it, in my opinion. A couple things go their way. It does take a bit of luck to win, but they totally. This is their best year since the money has come in, since the infusion of the money that they.
And we get an early glimpse of how good they can be. They played 2 group games against Bayern, and if they can win that group,
All right.
I can see them poised for a nice run.
And that concludes the video. So
Alright, stay tuned. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, share, tell your friends, tell your family.
Yeah.
We would really appreciate
This is
it.
our first video, so leave some constructive comments. Tell us what you think, and we'll be back with another
And
video
hey,
soon.
stay tuned. We don't just talk soccer.
We don't just talk
We know a wide variety of sports, and we want to bring all that content to you guys.
So we'll be back soon.
Thank you.